When I get home, I'm not talking to anyone. When I get home, I'm unplugging my telephone. When I get home, I'll get high alone. When I get home, I'm not talking to anyone.
Hey there, everybody. This is Radio Unfriendly, and we are finally back. After, God, when was the last time we did an episode? Well, when we did an episode last, it was Scott that was with me. Scott is no longer doing this podcast with me. Geez, I'm trying to remember when was the last time we did an episode. It's been a hot minute. Yeah. It was October of 2022. So it has been quite a while. But now it's back, and my co-host tonight is Cameron. So
Hey.
How's it going, Cameron?
Pretty good. How about you? Good day.
Not too bad, Nick Hyde. So Cameron, if obviously you don't know because you've never heard him on the show before, he and I were stationed in Alaska when we were in the Air Force together, and spent some time in Alaska playing in bands and talking about music and doing a lot of stuff that probably would have got us in trouble. But yeah, so we are going to be doing this Radio Unfriendly thing again, and tonight, or rather on this episode, because we're not doing this live. This episode, we are going to be talking about music and social media. That is, we're going to be talking about the impact that social media has had on the music industry in general, and how it has affected musicians, if that makes any sense. But of course, we will have a bunch of music to play for you. So if you've never heard this show before, we basically we talk about music that you're unlikely to hear on the radio, hence the title Radio Unfriendly. So we basically are bringing music that we think you should be listening to. And as I said, you're unlikely to hear this on the radio. So most of it is stuff that's pretty, what would be the best way to describe it? Pretty underground, not really very well known. There might be some bands out there you've heard as we continue along in this process. But generally speaking, they're not like super well known. You're definitely not going to see them in any arenas or anything like that, or hear them. I say it's unlikely that you'll hear them on the radio, but considering I don't actually listen to the radio, I have no idea if the stuff is played on the radio or not. It just doesn't seem like stuff that would be played on the radio.
No Wembley participants then.
Right. Nothing like that. So let's go ahead and start off with our first batch of songs. And kicking this off is a song from a band based out of Chicago, Illinois. And looking at this first batch of songs, it looks like we might have quite a few based out of Chicago. That was purely unintentional. But this first one based out of Chicago is the band Take the Reins. And they put out an album back in July of last year, 2022, called I'm at Your Door. And we're going to play a song from that album. It's called I Never Wanted to Be Famous. So here you go.
I never wanted to be famous.
I'm happy here being nameless, out in the crowd being faceless, and living life that's shameless. I never wanted to be famous. Do you sleep at night with a handful of pills for peace of mind? Oh, everyone you know, are you afraid to be alone? When you look in the mirror too, you like what looks back at you. Do you know yourself anymore? Who are you if you're not adored? I never wanted to be famous. I'm happy here being nameless, out in the crowd being faceless, and living life that's shameless. I never wanted to be famous. Oh no, it's not for me. Take your forbidden fruit, I wanna taste it. I never wanted to be famous. I sleep out at night, and no shame in how I choose to live my life. Here to cast my own shadow, not be above unless I show. Take a look in the mirror too, you like what looks back at you. Everyone's a cynic, yeah, there are critics. Oh no, not me, not my world, not my scene. I'm exactly who and where I want to be. Oh no, not me, got everything I need. I'm not afraid of the unknown, I'm not afraid to be alone, I'm not afraid to be alone. I never wanted to be famous, I'm happy here being nameless, out in the crowd being faceless, living life that's shameless. I never wanted to be famous, I'm happy here being nameless, out in the crowd being faceless, living life that's shameless. I never wanted to be famous. Oh no, it's not for me. So take your forbidden fruit, I don't wanna taste it. Rock stars in the living room, and living life that's shameless. I never wanted to be famous.
I'm not dead yet, and that's okay. Brain chip sweat, you betray. I won't read back. It's a delay. I like a cigarette before I hit the stage. Yeah, I'm a real threat. So on my way. I'm a punk rock warlord. Warlord, warlord. Warlord, warlord. Warlord, warlord. We're not dead yet, but that's alright. I'm not dead set on this long ride. I won't read back, but I just might. I like a cigarette before I hit the stage. Yeah, I'm a real threat. Still on my way. I'm a punk rock warlord. Warlord, warlord. Warlord, warlord. Warlord, warlord. I'm not dead yet, and that's okay. Brain chip sweat, as you betray. I won't read back. It's empty light. I like a cigarette before I hit the stage. Yeah, I'm a real threat. Still on my way. I'm a punk rock warlord. Warlord, warlord. Warlord, warlord. Warlord, warlord. I'm a punk rock warlord. Warlord, warlord. Warlord, warlord. Warlord, warlord. I'm a punk rock warlord. So let's start this from the top so I can find my motivation that I need. So I'm caught up, turn, I'm not the hell? What 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 the hell? So I think about the past, on what I should have done. There's no turning back, so I say, what the hell? 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 What the hell?
All right. Well, closing out that set was the Tragedies with the song What the Hell?
Great name for a band.
Yeah.
And
Good
a song.
stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Name of the song.
Also from Chicago, like I mentioned. All three of those songs that we just played were bands from Chicago, and that was purely unintentional, actually. I guess I just listened to a lot of Chicago music.
Close by.
Speaking of Chicago music, we are eventually going to be doing an episode or a series of episodes where we talk about like local scenes and play music from those particular areas. So Chicago will probably be on there. And I think for that one, we're actually going to have a pretty special guest on with us today.
Nice.
I won't mention who it is, but you probably know who he is. I don't want to mention his name because he has confirmed. We just don't have a schedule confirmed. But yeah, I think we will probably have this person on for the Chicago discussion.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
So anyway, oh yeah, let's talk about the song. So before the Tragedies with What the Hell, speaking of which, that song, that's just a single that was released this year back in February. And then before that, that second band that we played was Pure Intentions. Also a single called Punk Rock Warlord. And that one was released originally September 2022. And as we mentioned earlier, the first band was Take the Reins with I Never Wanted to Be Famous. So I never wanted to be famous. I had not heard of this band before this song was submitted for us to play. It was a good song. I liked it. Kind of had there's a certain vibe it had that I can't really put my finger on. Almost like the Interrupters without like the ska punk thing going on, maybe.
Yeah, they had a nice quick tempo.
Yeah,
Similar to that, yeah.
very, very good pacing. And so yeah, that album came out last year. I may have to check out the rest of that album. And then that second song by Pure Intentions, the thing that stood out to me most was the bass guitar on it was mixed in very nicely. I liked how they mixed it in and how it was very prominent.
Yeah, I thought it was well mixed. As I thought the first one was as well too.
Yeah,
they all are decently mixed, but
yeah,
for sure I like that song as well. Again, with a nice quick tempo and kind of catchy. I liked it.
definitely. Gotta like the catchy songs. So, like I said, we were going to talk about music and social media. So, essentially, we're just going to chit chat about how we think social media affected not only the music industry as a whole, but just bands in general. I got to say, the first thing that comes to mind in regards to social media affecting the music industry is that in some ways, as prominent as social media has become over the last 10 years, it has almost made labels obsolete.
Yeah,
because the primary function, I always thought, with a label is to market your music, get it out there, distribute it, and get people to be aware of it. With social media, you can pretty much do that yourself.
Yeah, and even for the smaller labels that where they couldn't compete with like the bigger ones that have like a full-on marketing department and promoting function. Now all you need is like a social media manager, right? And that's your marketing. You've got it good.
It definitely has helped prop up the independent record label market for sure. Because like you said, you don't need a huge advertising budget. You just need a social media manager.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, so my band Get Fired, we've never been on a label, and we've got 3 EPs, and all of the marketing has been through Facebook, been through Twitter, or as I call it now, Twix, Instagram, all this. There's just so much social media out there. Bandcamp is kind of social media, but it's its own special kind of social media. It's like music specific social media. And it's not, I don't even know really if you'd call it social media. It's a website that is, it's free for bands to use. And it's a huge marketing tool that bands can use. And there's a lot of people out there on it, and bands can actually make money through that site more so than they could on, like the Spotify's and Apple Musics of the world.
Yeah.
Because Bandcamp's really not taking that much.
They've really made it kind of change the way that people look at distribution of the music, right? So kind of the whole thing with social media and being able to, like, word of mouth takes on a whole new meaning when you can talk to the world, right? So between that and then being able to, instead of bands pressing their own EPs and trying to sell them out of the back of a car or something at a show, and now it's just posted on Bandcamp and now it's on social, and instant word of mouth and instant distribution makes it much easier.
Yeah, you're right. Because I mean, now that I think about it, Get Fired, our first 2 EPs, we did make physical CDs, but the third one we never even bothered putting out on a physical CD. We just put it on Bandcamp, and we used, what is the name of that site? I think it's DistroKid. DistroKit. I don't know. Hell if I know. But it like pushes it out to like Apple and Spotify and Amazon, and it's just like, so things like that of just like you got your own built-in distribution network if all you're going to do is digital only.
Even
now,
even for like more, I would say still like, you know, underground bands, but more mainstream than say, you know, what we're playing here. But like you know, I recently went to a Nine Inch Nails show, a Skinny Puppy show, a Pixies show. None of them were selling physical media at all. Like before, where you'd go to a show and you'd be able to buy an album or something, or, you know, vinyl even. I mean, there was nothing like that there. It's just T-shirts and bags and, you know, tote stuff. And
I was actually at a show just a couple of days ago where I expected that, but they were actually selling vinyl.
Yeah, nice.
But that's it. They were selling vinyl. And I went to see the Misadventures, band based out of Pennsylvania. Actually, we started off the show with a song from just kind of a clip of a song from them. But yeah, that was a really good show. But yeah, they had T-shirts, but they didn't have mass merchandise as far as their music, other than just like vinyl. And vinyls, I think for a lot of people, not necessarily myself, not necessarily for myself, but like vinyl is like more a collector's item than it is a way to listen to music. I get the impression, just based on a lot of conversations I have with people that listen to vinyl, they're like, it's just a collector's item. But I actually listen to vinyl. So but I don't know, it's like,
I've been around for a long time too, with all the different, you know, colored pressings and imports and stuff like that.
For sure. But I mean, social media has also impacted how bands present themselves, which we're actually going to get into in the second part of our discussion. But I want to continue this discussion about social media affecting the music industry at large. How else do you think it has affected, you know, like record labels and not even just record labels. We're talking about like it's also affected like your record stores.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
That's where you'd really only find vinyl now, right? I mean, I haven't been other than something, you know, like a bookseller in a mall or something like that, or like Walmart or something. I haven't seen like CDs in an actual like record shop in seems like forever. So they're all just vinyl now.
Yeah, we have a record store here in Norman, Oklahoma called Guest Room Records, which is actually, I mean, it's independently owned. It's not like a huge massive corporate conglomerate, but it is they do have chains. There's one here in Norman, Oklahoma. There's one in Oklahoma City, and I believe that they opened one up. I want to say it was Kentucky. I guess the original owner of the shop moved to Kentucky, and I just looked it up. It's in Louisville, Kentucky. But basically, you're independently owned record store, and that's what they've got. They got records. But you mentioned Walmart. I remember seeing records and CDs in Walmart. I don't really see them anymore.
I think I still see them there, but I don't know. It's been a while since I've been in Walmart as well. So
but things, you know, like Camelot Music, Sound Warehouse, things like that, you just don't see them anymore.
Yeah, I don't even know if they're
Tower Records might be a thing, but they're definitely not around here.
Yeah, I haven't seen. We don't have any Tower Records over here in Portland either.
Yeah. Now, when I was living in Seattle, there were a ton of record stores, but we're talking all independently owned record stores. A lot of them, mostly in the university district. But where was I going with this? Anyway, so with social media, not only has it affected the music industry in regards to record companies, but it's affecting, well, like the internet at large, it affects retail business anyway.
Yeah.
But this is one of those. This is one of those areas or one of these industries that has gotten hit.
Yeah.
The internet / social media boom.
It's a little more kind of susceptible to that kind of disruption because it's, not only are you buying them digitally, being delivered it digitally, but you're also consuming it digitally as well, right? So
right,
it's like the entire, from creation to consumption is totally digital at this point.
Yeah. Although I don't think it would actually be considered social media in the strict sense of the word. I think that Spotify is in a way kind of a social media type thing. Like you can't talk through it, but you can share it, and you have friends that you can listen to their, what are they listening to? And hey, here's what I'm listening to. So it's
you can
social,
review, right? So
yeah, it's social media to a certain extent, I guess. And you know what?
Different type, I'd say.
Yeah,
it's all social, it seems.
But just got me curious. What exactly is the definition of social media? So I'm looking up right now. Social media is a digital technology that allows the sharing of ideas and information, including text and visuals, through virtual networks and communities. Or any program or application which enables people and companies to communicate directly with each other or post content in a public manner. Yeah, I don't know if Spotify is really that definitive of social media. The only reason I bring it up is there's really a lot of talk on social media around this particular time of year, is because the Spotify Wrapped thing comes out. And everybody talks about, what have you been listening to this year? And what was your most listened to artist? What was your most listened to song? And all that. And so there's Spotify is at least for the last 2 or 3 years, has been a big part of social media communication because of this Wrapped phenomenon, if you want to call it that. Apple has something similar called Replay that is kind of like Wrapped, but I don't see as many people talking about that as I do Wrapped. Do you use Spotify by chance?
No, I'm pretty much a Apple Music person. Just because it's one less thing to sign up for, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, actually, obviously you may know this, but if those of you who don't, I listen to a shit ton of music. So, I actually subscribe to both. And primarily with Spotify, I listen to that at home when I'm in the office because I work at home, or work from home rather. But Apple Music is what I listen to in the car. Primarily, I think because of the audio quality. Like the audio quality in the car Apple Music is by far a lot better than Spotify.
Yeah, I did the whole like when it like before Apple Music, when it was just iTunes, right?
Yeah.
And I loaded all my physical CDs, ripped them into MP3s, and then
Yep.
they have that iTunes Match thing where they give you like the full Apple DRM'd version of the music that you have in your library to stream anywhere. So
right.
Ever since I kind of did that, it's just been Apple Music.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing that kind of on the social media piece that and kind of ties into the creation of a CD and a tape is kind of the job of the A&R guy has gotten like much easier, and it's gotten much easier for bands to get music to A&R people. So there's no longer like I got to send an A&R guy goes to the weekly mailbox pickup and gets 1,000 tapes and has to listen to them all and everybody's demos. Now it's just like tag them in a social post and with a song and a link to a song, and then they'll still have to go and maybe see the band live to see how they perform and things like that. But the interaction, like it's kind of easier on both sides. Not just, you're not really getting rid of the A&R guy, but his job has gotten like infinitely easier, and then the musician's job has gotten easier as well, just to get the music to him.
Yeah. So those of you that are listening, how do you think social media has affected the music industry? You can, once we post this to all the social media, that's how we get our name out there too. So let us know what you think about what social media has done for the music industry. So now that we're on promoting ourselves, the shameless self-promotion thing, you can find Radio Unfriendly on pretty much all of the socials. Instead of trying to read them all out to you, we have one link that you can go to. It is radiounfriendly.com, which will take you to a bio link, which then links you to Instagram, Facebook, Twix, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. What else is there? I guess we're not on.
And don't forget to check out Get Fired on Bandcamp.
Oh yeah, that too.
Shamelessly plug
always.
Steve's.
Yeah. Plug myself. Yeah, there we go. We actually just had a show about a week or so ago. It was a mess. You ever had one of those shows that just like, man, I wish I could do that one over?
Oh yeah. Plenty of that.
I've had some really bad shows, and I've had shows that went off worse than this. What was funny is like, so the band, we had not done a live show since. So this is the weird thing. Okay, so we did the show on November 20th. The last time that we played a live show was November 20th of 2021.
Oh, wow.
So it had been 2 years to the day. So we were not the headliners, clearly. And so we just kind of went in there. It's like, all right, time to knock the rust off. And we didn't think, we just thought there's not going to be anybody there that remembers us. So we're just doing this to knock the rust off of the live chops and whatnot. So good news and bad news is that we actually had a nice little crowd of people there that came specifically to see us.
Nice.
So it was cool, but at the same time, so here's what happened.
Pressure.
Here's what happened at the show. And it wasn't like that our performance was bad.
Mm-hmm.
So as I said, I've had shows that were much worse, that went off much worse. But this was a catastrophe because of technical issues. So we get started, we do our sound check, we get started. I'm like, okay, we're ready, let's go. 10 seconds into the first song, Wyatt's guitar amp blows a speaker.
No.
So we're like, yeah, just soldier on. Let's do it. Let's just keep doing it. Because you could hear them. Just the sound of the guitar just wasn't great, and it was getting progressively harder to hear. So we just soldiered on. We're like, screw it, let's do it. Let's just keep going.
So no PA in the.
There was a PA in this place, but they didn't have smaller venues, so they didn't have enough mics to mic everything.
Got it.
And it really, I mean, the size of this venue is a great venue. By the way, it's a really good venue here in Oklahoma City. Well, I'm not in Oklahoma City, but it's called the Grand Royale. Great venue, but it's a small venue, so you don't really need the mic stuff. In this case, we would have needed the mic stuff, but as I'm getting so we're playing and we're doing a thing, and it got to a point where like you just could not hear the guitar at all.
Oh no!
So at that point, we're like, okay, we're done. Sorry guys, we can't do this anymore. And but everybody was really cool about it. They were just like, oh well, when are you guys gonna play again? That was really their only concern. Yeah. Like, are you guys gonna play again? Like, oh well, yeah, we're gonna play again. Just
right.
Yeah. But yeah, it was like when you could hear it, like people were getting into the music, and we got the pity claps. But no, it was fun, but at the same time, it was like, oh my gosh, this was a tragedy.
Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff. So radiounfriendly.com. Just go there; it'll take you to all the cool links, and talk to us at those places. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We don't have a TikTok, but I don't really think I will bother with a TikTok.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll not go there. But all right, well let's get in and play some more music. I got some more songs before we get talking and finish our discussion on social media and music. So this first song that we're going to play is from a band based out of Los Angeles called Spanish Love Songs. So they actually just put out an album this year, called, I want to say No Joy. Man, I should know this. It's actually a really good album. Strangely though, I'm not playing a song from that new album. It is No Joy. Yeah. It came out, No Joy came out in August, but the song we're playing from them is actually, it's like one of my favorite songs from this band, and I thought it'd be cool to play this song. But it is from a benefit album that came out in March of 2019 called Sea Shepherd Benefit. For the life of me, I cannot remember what the benefit is for.
It's Greenpeace, isn't it? Sea Shepherd, some Greenpeace boat.
That is, yeah, they're well, Sea Shepherd is is it a boat? I think it's an organization.
Oh, maybe it is.
But it is an international organization that promotes wildlife and ocean conservation.
Yeah,
essentially.
It is its own.
But specifically what their mantra is or anything like that, I don't remember. But so they put out more than one benefit albums, because this one came from volume 3. And it is called Funeral. So we're going to start this set off with Spanish love songs and Funeral. So here we go.
Singing at a funeral tomorrow for a kid a year older than me. And I've been talking to his dad. It makes me so sad when I think too much about it. I can't breathe. And I have this dream where I'm screaming underwater. My friends are all waving from the shore. And I don't need you to tell me what that means. I don't believe in that shit anymore. Well, Jesus Christ, I'm so blue all the time. And that's just how I feel. Always have and always will. Always have and always will. Well, I have this friend Uncle. When I bore myself to tears, and we talk until we think we might just kill ourselves, and then we laugh until it disappears. And last night I blacked out in my car, and I woke up in my childhood bed, wishing I was someone else, feeling sorry for myself. And I remember someone's kid is dead. Well, Jesus Christ, I'm so blue all the time. And that's just how I feel. Always have and always will. Always have and always will. Well, and it's 4 a.m. again, when I'm doing nothing again. I'm doing nothing. I'm doing nothing.
Kelly, are you okay? No, I'm not. It is so weird. I mean, I'm here with Zach, and he's the greatest guy. But all I can think about is Jeff.
Kelly's always leaving Zach for other fucking men. But it doesn't take him too long to find a replacement. measure the distance between us. It's a quantum numb we're living in, meaning we're always as close as we are far apart. I couldn't celebrate your newfound love, overcome with shame and jealousy. When given the choice of who to believe, I chose my self-worth's enemies. Follow your heart, my dears, don't stop to measure the distance between us. It's a quantum realm we're living in, meaning we're always as close as we are far apart. When it was your turn, I did the same, defending free love to the teeth. Now every tear I own pulls its strings and humbles me. If one of us must suffer, let it be me. Even if I never get to see my sacrifices dawn on you, I always wanted to play the hero, and that's what heroes do. If one of us must suffer, let it be you. Obey me. Someday I'm gonna get it right. There won't be nothing stopping me. Someday I'm gonna get it right. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Someday I'm gonna split the night. There won't be nothing in my way. Somehow I'm gonna get it right. Oh,
All right. You are back listening to Radio Unfriendly. I am one half of your host team, Steve, and with me is Cameron. And you just heard Old Bay Thrashers from Baltimore, Maryland. That song was Salty Wounds. That was a single that came out in March of 2020. Damn, just as COVID hit.
Yeah.
That had to be rough. So yeah, they kind of had a little bit of a No Effects vibe.
Yeah, for sure. Vocally and musically, or instrumentally.
Yeah.
I'm digging the kind of the fishing themed song, or at least I assume it's fishing, Old Bay seasoning or something, and
yeah.
Salty Moons. I assume it's.
I'm
getting a fisherman's vibe.
Yeah. So good song.
Yeah.
Kind of wonder what they are up to now, come to think of it. Let's wonder if they have a band camp. Certainly they have a band
They
camp.
do, yeah.
They do. Old Bay Thrashers from Baltimore, Maryland. Well, the last thing that I'm seeing on here is from March 2021. And it is a single.
They have an album on their website from like early 2017. So
is it called Old Bay Thrashers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also showing up on their Bandcamp.
No show dates or anything like that. So
Yeah. I mean, I just talked to these guys recently. Otherwise, I wouldn't have played the music.
they have a kind of a message here, said recording for album number 2 is almost finished. Summer 2022 is when they were supposed to be. I mean, that was a year ago, so a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
You'd think that it would have dropped by now.
Yeah, you would think.
Something's going on there.
So let's see what did we play before that? Well, we played so the song that before that was from The Wasted, they're based out of the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, but I don't think they're from Pennsylvania. From Pittsburgh specifically. I think they're probably from like a suburb. They're from the Bandcamp says Du Bois, Pennsylvania, but I think that's probably a suburb of Pittsburgh. But that was The Wasted. Before them, the song was The Misadventures at Bayside High. So another good song. I can't think of what they reminded me of. Maybe a little Blink 182. I don't know. Not necessarily like musically, or like the singer didn't sound like the guy from Blink 182, but it just kind of had a certain vibe.
They appear to be a Japanese band.
The Wasted?
Yeah.
You might be looking at a different
Wasted.
Different Wasted, yeah.
Maybe.
Because again, most of these, looking at the song list here, I've actually spoken to every one of these bands.
Oh, yeah. So, well, there's another band out there called The Wasted.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I do want to make a correction, though. There was a band that we played earlier. The second band that we played, I listed or I mentioned they were called Pure Intentions. There's no S on the end of that. It's just Pure Intention. So retract.
Funnily enough, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that was the band that played the song Punk Rock Warlord. There's no S at the end of their name. But what were you getting ready to say?
There's a UK The Wasted, there's a US The Wasted, and there's a Japanese The Wasted. So
yeah, that doesn't really surprise me all that much.
Yeah. Seems like it'd be a common name. Pretty common name,
yeah. But and then of course before that we played Spanish Love Songs. Man, I really like that song. I love that guitar riff. Really like that guy's voice.
That was a very, very well-made song.
Yeah.
Sounded great.
Lyrically, it was very somber.
Yeah.
But I think that was the point.
Yeah.
Kind of depressing, talking about kind of outing his mental issues, which is fine. People need to do that. But
and it does that great, like, kind of drop into kind of like the feely chords, right? That goes into the chorus. That pretty nice.
Yeah, really good chord progressions. I really like the guitar riff that plays throughout the verse. Good band. I've never seen them live. I really want to, but
I just look at their tour dates, and they're in Portland next week, but of course it's sold out. And now that I know about them, I can.
They've never come anywhere near me.
Check them next.
When I was living in Michigan, I think they played in Michigan, but it was either right before I moved there or right after I left. So I was like,
Yeah, they're playing in Detroit, middle of the month, right after Chicago.
When do they play? Oh, Chicago, December 16th.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah,
Detroit's like the 17th.
man, I can't make that. That's too close. If that was going to be a couple months away, I'd probably would have made the trip up there.
Yeah,
because it's not like I haven't gone all the way to Chicago to see a song or seen a
those are
band.
the last shows before they're in the UK. So
Yeah, I guess I won't see them for a while.
and they're all sold out. So
yeah, last year I actually boarded a plane to go to Chicago specifically for a concert. But this was kind of a special occasion, if you want to call it that. A band who I never got to see when they were active, the Methadones.
right.
And so I never got to see them when they were active, and I like missed. There was one show they played that was kind of near me, and I missed it, and I kicked myself because by the time I realized it, they had already broken up, and it was like, but I saw on Facebook that they were doing a reunion show in Chicago. This was last year. Was this last year? Yeah, last year. And yeah, I paid for a plane ticket and went up to Chicago to see the Methadones because it's like, damn it, I never got to see them when they were active. I'm going to see them now.
Yeah,
Bad. And it was worth it. It was a great show.
yeah.
I love those guys. Yeah, I love that band. The Methadones, man, they're amazing. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Social media music. So we were going to talk about we talked about how social media has changed the music industry, but how has it changed? How has it affected bands? I would say, to put a really general arc on it, I think in general it has affected bands in a positive manner more than a negative manner.
Yeah. It's kind of like with everything on social media, you know, the negative people or the negative is always louder than the positive.
That is true.
So I'm sure there's there's much more a positive side to it than a negative side. But at the same time, you know, that negative could be anything from, you know, the band representing themselves wrong and getting, you know, whatever, you know, backlash or to use vernacular these days, canceled or whatever. But you know, there's that could happen. There's like, you know, cyber stalking and things like that. So there's kind of that whole, it kind of almost gets into that whole like celebrity and fan, you know, interaction and how much through social media you're letting these people into your life.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, that's got to be a concern. Maybe not so much small bands, but
yeah, I think for the smaller bands, it has been more positive and negative. I hadn't thought about that though. I guess with the bigger bands, it does kind of open you up to maybe too much fan interaction.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're a band that enjoys interaction with their fan base, social media has made it so much easier.
Yeah.
And
small bands live on word of mouth, right? So
for sure.
Super important.
I mean, if nothing else, at least when it comes to music or you know, in our case, podcasting, social media is very important for promotion and networking.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, word of mouth. It's how you get, you know, where social media is the word of mouth for the internet. I mean, you've got, you know, you got Facebook, you've got Twitter, you've got
LinkedIn.
You got, your bands can use LinkedIn, Instagram. Some of them out there are using TikTok.
And then
Man,
social adjacent things like, Bandcamp and Spotify and all those are maybe not fitting that definition that we talked about on traditional social media, but there's still a social interaction there, and it's
right,
online. So
right, and and there's more and more social media platforms kind of coming out of the woodwork that are going to start getting bigger. A lot of this having to do with kind of the overall backlash that Twitter has gotten over the last 1 or 2 years. But yeah, it's just opened up a whole new can of social media platform worms, so so to speak.
well, it all kind of goes in waves, right? So I mean, you
it
had
really does, yeah.
MySpace kind of fell out of favor, and then it was Facebook, and now
Yeah.
Facebook's kind of fallen out of favor
Right.
with a lot of the younger kids, and then Twitter, and then TikTok and Instagram.
But the biggest difference is like, okay, so MySpace, and like you said, that kind of led into Facebook, and then led it. But like those were kind of like 1, 2, 3. Now you've just got like this whole sea that just opened up. So it's not like just one platform that everybody's moving to. There's just like so many different. I haven't tried them all, but like you've got there's some like what's the one that I don't use? It's called Mastodon. And then you've got like Blue Sky, and you've got Counter Social, and you've got Threads, which it's like it's Instagram, but it's like,
which is Facebook.
Yeah, but it's like exactly. So it's like
yeah,
it's Instagram because you have to have an Instagram account in order to have a Threads account.
Mm-hmm.
And I think,
but you don't need a Facebook account, which
right.
is good.
That's true. But yeah, so there's just this whole sea that has opened up. So as a band, you kind of have to almost wait it out, like which one's going to be the replacement, because like you had all these bands that were on MySpace back in the day, and then my MySpace just fell apart, and then it was like, oh crap, where do we go to now? And but yeah, fan interaction is huge with social media and the bands, and then of course it could be your primary means of promoting your music. Like you got a new CD coming out, or you got a concert coming out. Gone are the days of printing up paper flyers and running around town with a staple gun.
Yeah.
And it's just not necessary anymore. And half the time bands don't even print out flyers anymore.
Which is a bummer, because those are another collector's item for people, right? So
exactly. Like they had at that show we did a couple of weeks ago, they actually did have flyers, like printed flyers, on the windows at the venue. I forgot to get one, but I should have grabbed one, but I didn't think about it. I'll have to ask the promoter if they've got any left. But yeah, it's just you don't have to spend your days wandering around the streets stapling stuff to telephone poles. You just make up one. You do a pull up print up a flyer in I don't know, Photoshop or whatever it is you want to use, and then just share it to your social media. Gosh, it makes it so easy. It's like it was nothing like it was when I first started in bands.
Yeah. It's. I mean, there's still a lot of. It's. I mean, to do the traditional form of making it, as a band. I mean, sure, that's certainly more, just as difficult in becoming, that kind of that wave of popularity or anything. But even the definition of making it is different now, right? So
yeah, it really is. Like,
and it's just so much easier to get to that level, or to get to the level where you're actually just people are listening to your music, which to a lot of people that is making it, right? So
yeah.
yes, it's a lot easier from that perspective.
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's like there aren't a lot of bands out there anymore, at least not the type that we listen to on a regular basis, that are like, that is their full-time job.
Yeah.
There's very few of them out there. In the grand scheme of things, you know, as far as
interestingly, and you think about that, and even like bands that that you know that we've maybe listened to, is like, I don't know if you remember, probably I'm sure you remember RKL. So
yeah,
actually, so that their bass player is now in Lagwagon, and he is actually I can't remember what company he works for. I mean, but he even has and that would, Lagwagon would be what you would consider as a, like, that's a band that's made it, right? But
yeah,
he's still working. He's in the same kind of career that I am. Interestingly.
But yeah, I mean, there are a few out there, obviously, that's kind of their main bread and butter. I mean, you got bands like, bands like Bad Religion. For the most part, you know, that's probably their primary source of income.
Yeah.
You know, Greg does have that, you know, that other job doing teaching. And then like say the Descendants. Well, say that again.
They have the blasting room, and
yeah, they've got the blast room, and Stefan has Armstrong Recording up in Tulsa. But they tour a lot, so I got to imagine they probably get.
I'm sure they're still getting, you know, residuals and things from all those old albums, you know, All and Descendants plus.
How do we get into this? This has nothing to do with social media.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
That's the way the show goes sometimes, folks. We just kind of get on rants, and it just veers off.
And not being like a full-time job for people, I think, is where we started.
Yeah. But
interesting.
Yeah. But you know, you've got I mean, it's just social media has become like almost like for lack of a better way to put it, almost like a necessary evil.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like there is a lot of bad about social media if you don't know how to navigate it. I mean,
especially for the younger generation that, you know, they've grown up these days, for better or worse, with parents sticking an iPad in front of their face, and they're just kind of glued to the screen the entire time.
Yeah.
So it could definitely be some negatives, but
so there's definitely a lot. Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of negative to it, but if you know how to navigate it correctly, and you
tune out the negative part.
I was going to say for certain platforms, if you like me, very liberally use the mute button.
Yeah.
You can make it a pleasant experience and make it work to your advantage.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, marketing using social media is just like.
Yeah. Well, just ads, right? I mean, ads is such a big business, and
I mean, it's such a game changer. Like, oh, you mentioned ads. You know, that's like Facebook. You use Facebook ads. It's probably one of the cheapest ways you are going to be able to get your product, in this case, music, in front of thousands upon tens of thousands of people.
Yeah. Well, even with its kind of wane in popularity a little bit, it's still the number one thing on the internet for click-through to ads. Just because, I mean, there are still that many people that are using it, and there's so many ads, and
definitely. Just a huge way to promote your
Yeah.
product. And if there's any new bands that are out there trying to figure out ways to get their name out there and don't know anything about marketing, thing about social media, you don't have to know anything about marketing. The marketing is right there. It's already built in.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's crazy how much of a game changer social media has been
For better or worse. Yeah, I mean, you have
better
some
or worse, yes.
platforms that are, especially on the ad side of things, there's some platforms that are trying to be unobtrusive in their advertisements, and then there's some platforms like like some certain video sites that seems like there's an ad every couple minutes, but it's no worse than TV, right? But
right. Another social media platform I didn't even really think of, but is definitely, although I don't think it's meant to be social media per se, it does fit the definition. I'm referring to YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
People chat back and forth on that, and when you got your videos up there, people can comment and rate it and give it a thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever. But and YouTube, I mean, you can do ads through YouTube.
Yep.
So it's another.
You can monetize your videos. You can actually generate revenue.
Exactly.
On, what you're doing.
Definitely. So I mean, but YouTube's, that's to start making money on that. There's just a certain criteria that you have to follow.
I've also heard of like a band, doing something with their music and being demonetized, and it's like I'm the writer of the song. They're like, I own the copyright, but you're going to demonetize my video for it. So it's some weird stuff happening there too.
Well, I mean, I'll go ahead and promote the other podcast I do, but I do a live stream. For the most part, it's a Star Wars podcast, but I actually do play music on it. I get hit on YouTube on that for using copyrighted material with the music, even though I have specific written permission for every song that I've ever played on that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it just means I don't get blocked or anything like that. I'm just not allowed to monetize it on YouTube, which is no big deal because I'm not trying to make money with my goofy little Star Wars podcast. But man, anything else that you want to mention about how social media has affected musical artists?
I would just say that, in addition to making their kind of jobs easier with being able to promote and things like that, it's also, a big responsibility that, what you say online, it lasts forever. And, so they have that, they're not just, when a band member goes out there and speaks on social or does something on social media, they're not just representing themselves, right? They're representing the entire band. So that's a lot more pressure. I think that people don't consider enough when they start, typing it at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
For no better reason than just to do it, right? So
definitely,
I think that a lot of thought needs to go into it to really do it right. So where it's easier, it's kind of a little bit harder from the pressure, I think, perspective.
Yeah, I could say that. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Radio Unfriendly. We do have another song that we're going to close things out with. But I just wanted to thank everybody for listening. If you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, make sure that you leave us a review and a rating, please. And be back next time for another episode, whenever that might be. I don't think we have a topic thought up yet specifically, but we do have some. We have some topics like kind of rolling around in the back of our heads. Whether or not that'll be the next one or not, we will see. But we will go ahead and close things out with this last song. This band is from Glasgow. I guess it'd be Scotland.
Yeah.
It says UK, which I guess it is the UK.
Yeah,
But it
it's
is
still
Scotland.
part of UK, yeah.
It's still part of UK. They're called the Guillotines. And they just put out an album this past July called Antagonistic. That was released July 2023, as I said, from a Little Off the Top Records. And the name of the song is We Mean Nothing to You. So here's We Mean Nothing to You by the Guillotines. Again, thanks for listening, and come back next time.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Have a good night or day, whatever it is.
Whenever you're listening to this. Later.